So good morning, everybody. My name is Michel, Senior Manager for Sustainability Development at Champion Iron. So it's a pleasure to be here with you today. So it's good to see that not too many people have been screeching yesterday, so that's a good thing. So we'll present you today the CAMI project. It's a great project in our pipeline at Champion Iron. So provide you an update on the pre-feasibility study that have been released last year, and we'll jump right into it with the site layout. So what we can see on that site layout is things didn't change that much since the last 10 years in terms of footprint. You know, this project is at the same location that the previous owner was looking to put the infrastructure in: pits, overburden stockpile, mine rock stockpile, tailings management facility. Footprint is the same. What we are looking to optimize really with this project is access to the project, making sure that those 8.6 million tons per year of high-purity iron ore concentrate find their way back to the port of Sept-Îles, being shipped to our clients, steelmakers, and having also infrastructure in place that will minimize interaction with the public around cabin owners, a lot of cabin owners in this area. So we move access away from their place so they can still enjoy the land and do what they want to do over the weekend when they go there. And it's maybe not enjoying mining activities, but more the land. So access on the west for construction have been moved closer from the boundaries of Quebec. And now we're looking to develop an access going through Takura mine sites, or we're in discussion with Takura to make that happen. So collaboration between mining companies is quite important to make those projects move forward. So it's a community, and making sure we're part of that community and leveraging those projects with our partners is quite important on our end. And hearing from the community that they didn't want to have that trail in the public watershed from Wabush, that protected watershed, was a big thing for the community that we are looking to make happen. So when we look in terms of infrastructure, we can see on that rendering the pit. And what jumped to our eyes when we're looking at the pits, it's surrounded by water. So a big thing for us is to making sure we're protecting lakes around the project area. So we added in the pre-feasibility study a lot of infrastructure to make sure we protect lakes around the project. So dike, berm, collection ditches, water treatment system have been included in our pre-feasibility study. When we look on the image at the bottom on the right, we can see a process plant that will achieve that high-purity iron ore concentrate. The grades should be flirting between 67.5 to 68%. So we can bring that material into the electric arc furnaces and producing green steel. That's the objective with this project. And when we look then on the image at the bottom on the left, we can see the mine infrastructure. And the big thing we included in that project is an in-pit crusher and conveyor system that would reduce the fleet from 25 to 8 trucks. To move that material, around 8 trucks of 250 tons would be required to move all the waste to support the operation. So it's a big change in the project as we're able to reduce fuel consumption, GHG emission, and dust. Most of the dust that are coming from those projects is from moving the material around. So that was thing that we're looking to integrate in the project to have a mine of the future. But those mine projects are coming with a price, and right now we're looking at about 3.9 billion in initial capex for starting up that project, with NPV and IRR that are not the greatest. So why CAMI? Why we are continuing with a project with that type of economic? And that's a question I want to answer today. First, we have to look at who we are, Champion, and what's our vision, and why we are waking up every day and giving the best out of us, and why I'm here today and not with my kids, getting them ready to go to daycare with my wife, is because we believe that leverage the force of responsible material to decarbonize and brighten the future is what's keeping us together. It's what's make us move forward with the Bloom Lake project and making that a success. So for us, that's our vision. It's what we want to integrate within the CAMI project. Then pull off a slide from our latest quarterly update. I know it's a bit busy as a slide, but there's a lot of information in there about our GHG emission with the Bloom Lake project. We did a Scope 3 inventory of our emissions. So That's something that will be more and more coming in the industry as they want to understand, okay, what are the emissions coming from our project downstream from our project? So in terms of processing, transportation, purchase of goods and services, those kind of things, how our product sold is impacting then carbon emission in the future. And what is really interesting with that side is about 95% of those scope 3 emissions are coming from the processing of our product sold. So when we look at that and we compare ourselves to the seaborne iron ore producer, and our peers in the industry, we're doing quite well with 1.26 tons of CO2 by tons of iron ore sold. But with high purity iron ore and being able to transfer our production from the blast furnaces to the electric arc furnaces, what we're going to do is cut that by half and flirting more with a 0.6 to 0.7 tons of CO2 by tons of iron ore sold. And it's how we can make a difference and how the Labrador Trough is an amazing area to develop future projects, making sure that the project in place are contributing also to decarbonization of the steel industry, and all together we can make it happen in Canada. So when we look at our asset in Canada, Kami is the most advanced of our project. But there's other stuff we're looking around, like around Bloom Lake properties, we got different claims in which that can contribute to extend the mine life of the Bloom Lake project. Around Arcelor, Fire Lake areas, they have a satellite pit in operation up there. There's a bunch of claims we're owning with about 9 to 10 deposits that we're currently doing exploration on, so that are in our pipeline for growth as well, and other exploration along the trough. So we see ourselves operating in the Labrador Trough on a long term, being able to contribute to that legacy that is built by the current mining operation in place, and contribute to leveraging opportunities for Canadians and making sure that what we are doing in Canada with our resources since centuries, we are able to still doing it for the next centuries, for future generation. And that's what we're believing in, and that's how we are seeing Kami project, being a big part of our portfolio right now. So, road for success, how we make those things happen, and I think Bloom Lake is a perfect example of, how we make things move forward. So when we did the acquisition in 2016 of the Bloom Lake project, 2 years after commissioning of the mine was going on, we launched a feasibility study to increase our production to 16 million tons a year after. 2022, the second processing plant construction was completed. Commercial production reached at 16 million tons per year in 2023. And just to keep ourselves busy, because we like working, I guess, in 2024, we just launched a construction of our direct reduction pellet feed project. So what that means for ourselves is we'll be able to put on the market iron ore concentrate at a grade of 69% in 2026. It would be one of the purest concentrate of iron ore you will find in the world. So we'll be able to test that market and see, okay, how steelmakers are reacting to that. And for us, it's where Kami is going in that direction. It's really aligned with how we see our project moving forward within Champions. But how we do make that happen is with the people and building respectful relationship with our partners. And I really like this story about David Catafa, our CEO. And the first contract David signed after the acquisition of the project was the impact benefit agreement with the Inuits from Quebec, from Ouachat-Ménoténam and Matsmé-Coshlac-John. That was the first thing that happened after the acquisition of the project. And with this agreement in place, we were able to leverage then the community within the company and making sure they're part of the project. And we are one of the best employer in terms of First Nation on the north coast of Quebec, with about 10% of the employees, direct and indirect, supporting the project right now. And speaking of our employees, every time we're visiting the mine site with partners, what they bring us to the table after the site visit is, man, oh man, you guys do not lock your tools. So everybody's sharing tools here and having shared toolbox. So it's really respectful, and people work together, at different level. And that trust have been translated with this deal we signed with the union this year to making sure that everybody got a cut in the benefit of the project, and making sure we are building up a strong relationship based on trust and respect that is translated to those deals we're signing with the unions. And that culture, it's really important to keep for us and to bring in our new project and our future project. Also, those projects will never see the light without the support from the towns and the government. One thing I want to highlight here is Quebec government did really well with the Bloom Lake project when they facilitate the acquisition of the project by financing 20 millions of the acquisition. That investment turned out in a 400 millions benefit for the province in less than 3 to 4 years. So, those type of win-win deal that's what we're looking to put in place so everybody can benefit from our mining operation. So that's how we make success happen. Also, we have to leverage learning from the past. There was a lot of good stuff done by the previous owner on the Kami project, and just with the permitting and the different feasibility studies that have been done, we can understand where we have to focus our work next to make sure this project, move forward, reach out social acceptability, and meet requirement from the government. So all the conditions of release of 2014 is helping us to move forward with this project, improving this project so we can reach what we would like to seek as a project, as a community, as a government, as a town. So we really base our learning on the past and move forward with our vision that we include in the project. And we have to always validate, those inputs from the past and making sure they're still real. So since the last 2 years, we spent a lot of time on the field to understand if those concerns have been addressed. Are we on the right path with the project? So we had more than 400 reaches to our partner in the last 2 years, more than 50 meetings with the communities and our partner to understand what they want through this project. And really our approach is to walk the talk. So we're tracking concern and we're showing them how mitigations can be applied, and giving them visibility how we are addressing concern and how we are de-risking the project. So that's quite important to build up the trust and build up the respect that will make sure that as the Bloom Lake project, Kami can move forward on the right path. So one of those main concerns is water management. So for people that are water resource engineers such as I love those images, but I know it's really busy. So I'll just give you a tour of what we're seeing there. It's with all the infrastructure we put in place. And one of the strongest conditions of release of the 2014 ministerial decision was to understand more about groundwater and how many inflows to the pit should be reporting to the operation. So if we want to securize mining of that pit, we need to understand how much water we'll deal with. And there's all the others operation in the neighborhood are having really strong water management infrastructure in place. Groundwater management, it's not something new. It's something that we can understand with proper studies, proper field investigation, and that's what we have been working on in the last 2 years. Invested a lot of money and time to understand that. So with the new infrastructure we're adding to the project I was listed before, we're able to make sure that the water level around the project area do not go down in the water table at the yellow line we're showing on that screen around the pit area. So we're able to protect Pike Lake, which is quite important, by berming off that lake and giving us room to install the watering wells in the future. We're looking to do a pumping test over the winter to design those dewatering well, so they can be included in the feasibility study we're working on. So that's a couple of examples here of how we can make sure that water quality within the lake, water level into the lakes are maintained, so people can still enjoy the land and do what they like to do over the weekend, go fishing, boating, and do the stuff they want. So that's one example. Another example is tailing management. Things change in terms of tailing management in the last decades. And for the best. Now people want to see structure that are built robust for the long run And what we are presenting is a centerline construction. So for people that are not geotechnical engineer in the room, what does that mean is you're making sure that your foundation is stable by using mine rock to build your dam. And with that rock, you limit wind erosion around the project area because it's going to break the wind hitting up on your tailing facility. And then what it's allowing us is move those tailing facility in a higher elevation. So by having facilities that are higher, we're reducing the footprint. And lower the footprint is, less wind erosion you would have. So that's the best mitigation we can put in place, is having those facilities being the smallest possible. So that's what we're proposing with this project. And all that come with a cost. It's way more costly building a tailing storage facility that way than an upstream construction. But it's the way people want to see this coming up. It's how the society want to see those things moving up in the future. Then when we're looking at the air quality and noise, proper segue with the tailings facility, the in-pit crusher and conveyor system will be a great asset in terms of reducing air quality and noise emission around the project by reducing the fleet, lowering up our fuel consumption. Other thing we're looking at is to minimize our footprint as much as we can, optimize the access, as we mentioned, and other type of mitigation, such as having a dome above our stockpile, and having conveyor system. As we got at Bloom, we got a lot of conveyors at Bloom for the best and worst, but we're getting more and more use with that technology, and we trust that we can implement that at Kami with moving our waste rock around. So when we look in terms of power and things that are required to advance with this project, having clean electricity to feed this power is a key asset for this project. So with all those changes and improvement to the project I'm presenting today, it comes with a need in terms of electric supply that is greater than before. We're looking at 165 megawatts for the startup of the project. And the biggest, I would say, difference is really related to the pit dewatering, integrating also all this electric mining equipment and that new way to move rock around the site, and also to achieve the high purity iron ore product that we want to process at the mine site. And we also move from the fuel boiler to electric boiler, so that's another add to the demand. So when we were in the room yesterday hearing about Minister Wilkinson making his announcement on financing the studies of Enel Hydro of increasing the power line between, or developing the power line between Churchill and Labrador West. It's a quite good news for us. So it's how we can see government translating in action the announcement they made on high purity iron ore. And Premier Fury yesterday, when he was mentioning that it was something really important for his government to move forward with this announcement, they really unlock something in Canada by having high purity iron ore being added on that critical mineral list. So I think it's good to see that Newfoundland and Labrador are leader in that way, and then that other government are making informed decision and unlocking those potential in the province and in Canada. People. So staffing of the project will be a key element on our side. And right now, the model we're having is on FIFO. Why we went with a fly-in, fly-out operation model for the pre-feasibility study is that the stats were not there to make another decision. Now we have to follow up the regulation in terms of 43-101. Our shareholders are expecting us to present projects that are making sense in terms of assumption. And when we were looking at the unemployment rate in the West Coast Northern Peninsula, Labrador, this one decreased of 5% in 10 years. And when we're looking at the unemployment rate in Labrador City, it's 5.5%. So staffing a project with 600 workers right now, it's quite a challenge without new infrastructure, without town being developed, to welcome new workers in the region. So what we are committing ourselves is to go with prioritizing local workforce. We made two great announcements in the last couple of weeks with our two new teams member joining us, and they will be based in Labrador, Newfoundland. And for us, that's how it's a great announcement, because what this is showing is that we're going toward achieving this commitment. But then we need to work with our partner, work with the towns, work with the government to make sure that town development follow up and we can leverage this opportunity and this project become a project for future generation of Labradorian. And it's what we want to see. But right now, we have to work together to unlock this opportunity. So next step for us is to complete our advanced exploration, so pumping tests, a bulk sample, those kind of things. Getting along with the permitting, and I know we're looking to file our EIS somewhere early next year. Advance with the feasibility study have been that released in 2026, so we can work on optimization of our financial parameters and make a final investment decision. So construction could start if all stars align somewhere in 2027. That's what we would like to see, and we're working on right now. So thank you for your time today. I went through quite rapidly my presentation, and don't hesitate to catch me up if you want to discuss about the project in the lobby in the next couple of days. So thanks.